Is it better to live in the United States than it is in Germany? I moved here in 2015, almost 9 years ago, and I spent 28 years of my life in Germany. So I know a thing or two about a thing or two of both countries. And today we're gonna look into if it is really better living here in the US than it is in Germany. So let's go. Welcome zurück to another video. My name is Misha. I was imported in 2015 to the United States by my wife. I moved from Germany to the US, and on this channel I cover all the differences and difficulties of moving from one country to a completely different one. And if that is content for you, then smash the like button and hit the subscribe button. Turn the notification bell on to stay up to date with all videos about that topic. But let's get into this one. Let's start with the education, because it's very important to understand if you move from Germany to the United States with your kids, or you want to have kids while you're in the US. The school system is completely different. First of all, United States schools are extremely expensive. Not only the public schools are expensive, but also universities are extremely expensive. So you better save some money to send your kids to university, or you make sure they're gonna get a scholarship while they are in high school. In Germany though, public schools are free, and even more and more universities are free for German students as well as for international students. When it comes to a school day, a school hour is 45 minutes in Germany, and after each school hour you have a 5-minute break to change classrooms, to go from one classroom to the other. And after 2 school hours, you get a 15-minute break to regenerate, recess. In Germany, also the school days are shorter. At elementary school, the Grundschule, kids go to school at 8 o'clock and leave school at 11:15. In the higher up schools, then it goes from 8 o'clock till 1 o'clock. And then as higher you go, you might have school till 3 o'clock. But Grundschule kids never have that long of a school day as they do here in the US. After the Grundschule, which is the elementary school, your teacher actually evaluates where you should go, which is the next 3 higher schools. Hauptschule, which is the lowest rated, Realschule, middle one, and then Gymnasium, which is the highest rated. That's where all the people go that want to be a lawyer, a doctor, everything that needs a university degree. That's where the kids have to go. In the last year of your elementary school year in Germany, the teacher evaluates each student and then tells your parents where she sees you fit. Hauptschule, Realschule, or Gymnasium. When your teacher tells your parents, hey, Misha is not the right person for a Gymnasium degree, then my parents probably not gonna send me because they trust the teacher. And if they tell my parents I need to go to the Hauptschule, then I got an issue with might never being able to actually be a doctor, because I have to jump to way more hoops and get way more degrees in education to actually go to university in Germany. I graduated from the Realschule. I was not fit for Gymnasium. I went there, finished it up with 10th grade, and then what happens in Germany, after you're done with school, and if you're not graduating from the Gymnasium and going to university, you are looking for a job, a trainee job, a vocational school job, what it's like here. But in Germany, you actually have to apply for a job that you might want to do. For me, I had to apply to be a car mechanic and an electrician, and I applied at numerous car dealerships to do so, and I ended up working for Mercedes. And the reason for that is that in Germany, it's school and work 3.5 years long. Each and every job, other than university jobs, are usually 3.5 years long combination of school and actually working. So my time at Mercedes looked like this. I went to work each week, and 2 days out of the week, I actually went to school and learned the theoretical things. And then I went back to work. I actually made some money while learning the job. Even though in my first year it was only $320, in my second year it went up to $350, and in my third year it went actually up to $500 a month for learning that job. During those 3.5 years, and it doesn't matter if it's a mechanic or a hairdresser, during those 3.5 years, you have a test in the middle of the 3.5 years where they test your practical skills as well as your theoretical knowledge, and they grade you on that. And that grading goes into your final exam after 3.5 years, where you have to do exactly the same thing again, theoretical test and a test that is practical. For me, I had to find some issues on cars and all that kind of stuff. And then they grade you, and based on that, you are getting a grade, and either you pass and you end up being a Geselle, which that is when you're done with your job and you can start actually as a car mechanic, a certified one, or you have to run that last year again. But that's how the educational system in Germany works. While in the US, the kids go to school, and they go to school, and then they go to school or university, and then they are in their job. So is the education better in Germany than it is in the US? I don't think so. I think they're pretty even. I think the quality of education kids are getting, and I see that on my kids going to school here, I think the quality of education is pretty much the same. And a lot has changed how they teach kids nowadays. You know, I can't even keep up with that. The only difference is US education is extremely expensive compared to the German education. All right, after the education, you need some opportunities, job opportunities. Generally speaking, I think you have more opportunities here in the US than you have in Germany. In Germany, you learn your job, you stay in your job till you retire. A lot of people stay there. Not many actually change. The opportunities to get to a higher position in Germany is also very slim. You might get promoted to a supervisor position of that whole entire mechanics unit, for example, but you're not gonna be the boss at one point. You can't do that. You might get a little pay raise here and there, but you really cannot work yourself up as you can here in the US. Unless I go back to school and get the same degree, and then by the time I've done that, I'm 45, so it's over. Here in the US, I can work myself up with hard work and dedication. I can make it to a higher pay bracket. I can jump up in the ranks in companies and be someone and work myself up. In Germany, it's also pay-wise. Yeah, I didn't get paid much. If I tell you, when I finished school and started working as a mechanic, I only made $1,400 gross income. $1,400. That is about $760 after tax, health insurance, and whatever they take out of your paycheck. Wasn't much. With time, I would have gotten more and more, but since I just finished, they paid me the minimum amount. And yes, you got that in the US as well. But if you really want to work, you can work yourself up. Unemployment rate in the US as in Germany is actually pretty high. 3.6% in Germany, in the US 3.9%. So unemployment rates are pretty comparable from both countries. I personally think the job opportunity, if you really look into it and try to find something, you have more in the US than you have in Germany. But let me tell you, my German degrees didn't count crap here. I have an office management degree from Germany, didn't count anything. Nothing, nada, niente. My car mechanic degree probably would have counted something. I did not do that job, and I went back to learning a new job. So I became a real estate agent. That's what I'm right now, and I absolutely love the freedom of being what I want to be. And if you want to find that and your German degrees don't really count, then you can find a different job that makes you happy. But you also can check which German degrees are actually counting anything here in the US before you make the move, and then, you know, you wake up in a nightmare because you can't find a job in your actual field that you want to work in. Let's talk about the cultural differences. Germany and the US are completely different. The US is the international melting pot. You can meet people from all over the world that move to the US. Doesn't matter if it's France, Australia, India, China, wherever it might be, they're in the US. There are people. You can meet different cultures, you see different cultures. While in Germany, we do more and more see that as well. But basically, you have the Germans, and they're a little bit different. I personally think the Germans are a little bit looser when it comes to the culture. We are more outgoing. When I read online, a lot of people say the Americans are more outgoing. But I think when I lived in Germany and we went to all those festivals and stuff, we got along with everyone. We drank beer, wine, whatever, and had dinner with everyone. Doesn't matter if we knew the person or not. Here, I think in the US, people or stick with the people that they actually know. You can make a lot of friends over here. For sure, I'm an outgoing person. I'm a social butterfly. So if I meet someone new, I go to that person, introduce myself, and talk to them a little bit. So I think cultural-wise, we got more cultures here in the US for sure, and you can see see more cultural differences depending on the cities and the states you're gonna move to. You might have a little bit more culture on the East Coast and on the West Coast than in the middle of the US, but there is so much culture from different countries that actually build up this beautiful country. And in Germany, we just got our German culture, definitely. Nevertheless, both have their pros and cons, and I like both cultures. Let's talk about the differences in food, because this is something that shocks me. You got a lot of restaurants, but they're all chains here in the US. There are some mom and pop, don't get me wrong, but in Germany, it's more mom and pop. You got the authentic Indian, authentic Mexican, authentic French, authentic Italian, authentic everything over there. And here you got more chains. I think Germans eat healthier than the Americans. They might not drink healthier, but they eat healthier. Here in the US, it's more and more common for healthier food, green food, but you can't really find as good as food you can in Germany. I think the German food is just way better. If you agree with me, put it in the comments below. If I offended you by that, I'm sorry, but it's just the truth for me that the German food is better. We cook healthier. We have less substances that are forbidden. If you read the ingredients on a cereal bag here, it's more chemicals than anything else. And then read the same cereal in Germany, it's so different. So I think German food in general is better, but I gotta say, when we first moved here, we lived close to Kansas City, and their barbecue, amazing. Q39 in Kansas City, the best place up there to get barbecue. Nevertheless, I think the German food is better and wins that one. I wish we had more German restaurants and more restaurants like that over here in the US. Let's wrap this video out with something important everyone should know when moving from Germany to the US is the cost of living difference. In the US is way more expensive, and I'm telling you, a lot of Germans think the US is so much cheaper than Germany, but it's not. Just look at food. Food is 20% more expensive here in the US. If we go to a grocery store in Germany, even though inflation flew up everything all over the world, healthy food in Germany seems to be way cheaper than here. I couldn't believe when I first moved here how much a single bell pepper was compared to 3 bell peppers in Germany. It was ridiculous. And then healthcare. In Germany, everyone says healthcare is free. Well, it's not technically free because they take out a portion of your paycheck each month to pay your health insurance, and then your employer pays a little bit of your health insurance as well. So it is technically not free. But in the US, health insurance is way more expensive. Let me tell you that. Medicine gotten way more expensive. In Germany, you have to have more and more insurances. You cannot just have an health insurance and then go to the dentist, because the dentist charges so much and the regular insurance doesn't cover everything. So you gotta have supplemental insurance that covers a little bit more, so your out of pocket is cheaper. It's the same here. If I look at my neighbor, she needs heart medicine. Those freaking 10 pills cost $600 copay. You would never pay that much in Germany. So healthcare is way more expensive. Food is more expensive by 20%. Transportation is more expensive, even though gas prices are way more expensive in Germany than they are here in the US. But the US, or public transportation, is about 45% more expensive than in Germany. In Germany, a lot of people use public transportation because the cities are built differently. They're either walkable or you have public transportation everywhere. Not so much in the US, especially in smaller towns. And then rent prices and housing prices, even though they went up everywhere in the world, Germany is still a whopping 42% cheaper when it comes to rent prices. Yes, you might make less money, but you also have less expenses. So if you're thinking about moving with your family from Germany to the US, make sure you figure out the cost of living at the place you want to be in. Upper East Coast as well as West Coast is probably way more expensive than the Midwest or Georgia, where I'm at, which is one of the most affordable states to live in the US. Nevertheless, both countries are beautiful and I love them. What I completely forgot in all of that was the festivals. And this is something I do miss here in the US, because in Germany we have way more festivals and the festivals are so different. Yes, we got fair here and there and some food truck festivals, but it is not comparable to Kirmes in Germany. It's just not. Or a wine fest or a beer festival. It's not. And we drink in public. Yes, we do. We do drink in public, and I'm not ashamed of that either. So is it it better to live in the United States than in Germany? The answer to that question is, it depends on you. It depends on your priorities and your preferences. If you want the German festivals, the German food and restaurants, the US might not be the place for you. If you want a huge country 14 times as big as Germany with a lot of untouched land and a lot of different countrysides to see and huge diversities, then the US might be for you. But keep in mind that there are a lot of differences and you gotta get used to it. Your German job degrees might not count. The cost of living is a little bit more expensive over here. The food is different and you do not have Oktoberfest as great as we do it. There are Oktoberfests, don't get me wrong, but they're not as good as in Munich, or Weinfest like in Bad Dürkheim, not here. So it's really up to you. Let me know what you think. Have you moved to the US from Germany, or you're thinking about it? If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.